Video from Bloodhound Blog, Unchained in Phoenix, 2008. Brought to you by Zillow.com. Video courtesy of BrokerIPTV.com.
Welcome to Bloodhound Blog's Unchained event, sponsored by Zillow.com. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona at the Heard Museum, and I'm honored to have our primary sponsor representative here, David Gibbons from Zillow.com. David, maybe you could just tell us why Zillow is involved with events like this, Web 2.0 and social media.
Thanks, Mark. This is a really good fit for us, obviously way beyond real estate. Zillow's mission is to empower consumers through information. Something we realize is that information is not going to all come from our databases. A lot of that information is going to come from local experts. You've heard real estate is local. Well, it's very, very true. So where are you going to find the local expertise? The local expertise lies within the experience of the local real estate professional. And so we realized that to empower our consumers with information from the local real estate professional, we should build a platform whereby local real estate pros and consumers get together and under the same roof and talk about real estate. And that's what Zillow.com is. And so as you think about it from that perspective, Zillow.com is one big social media marketing opportunity for real estate professionals to show what they're best at. And so this is a perfect fit for us. You know, social media is revolutionizing the real estate industry. Zillow wants to be a part of that. Equipping realtors to use social media obviously plays into our mission of empowering consumers with information.
Wow, great answer, David. And we really appreciate the sponsorship here in events like Unchained. Thank you.
Pleasure. Glad to be a part of it.
Welcome back to Bloodhound Blogs Unchained here in Phoenix, Arizona at the Heard Museum. And once again, we're talking with David Gibbons. And David, why don't you just share some of your open, random thoughts, as we were discussing before, on how Web 2.0 and how the internet is really changing and shaping the world?
Well, Mark, I think this social media marketing thing it's not a fad. It really is, you know, the way in which we sell things between each other, the way in which I sell things to you is changing. It's being totally revolutionized right now. And 5 years from now, marketing will not look the same as what it does today. I was in Denver last week on a panel of folks who were talking social media marketing in a much broader context. I was the only person from real estate there. One of the anecdotes that came out was, you know, if you are still paying a PR agency to identify who the influencers are in your space, you're obviously wasting time and money, because you could spend half an hour on Google and find out who people are listening to by just searching for the bloggers who are writing about your industry. That is just one really small example of where marketing is changing. I really think the core to this whole thing, though, is this concept of permission marketing. You're trying to, really, the whole dynamic has changed. People have stopped ramming products down each other's throats, and they're trying to get to a point where they're that well branded that the consumer comes to you when they have a need and not the other way around.
Wow. Yeah, I've got a good friend of mine that actually, there's a couple startups, and he's involved in one, and that's all they do is study the web analytics, names, searches, blogs. I mean, the intelligence that they sell to some of the Fortune 500, Fortune 100 political companies, incredible. You're talking about, that's really the PR company of the future, is where you're probably buying your data from.
Well, and also I think that illustrates a very, very valid point. The people getting into social media marketing, one of the major mistakes they make is they think about marketing as what they say, and they don't think enough about how they listen. And it's actually a two-way street. And so what your friends are specializing in is the science of listening to a massive internet and hearing what they might be saying about your product or your brand. You know, when I speak to someone who's going to get into blogging, I say, way before you write your first blog post, go and read 10. And I'll give you a ratio of, you must read 10 blog posts before you're allowed to write one, or comment on 3 before you're allowed to write one. And that has to do with cultivating listening skills. I personally find at Zillow that the way in which I listen to people writing about us is so much more valuable than anything I say about our brand. I take the feedback that you guys give on your blogs, and I go back to our product team and I say, hey, you know, if we don't change this, it's going to move in the wrong direction with realtors. And so that listening skill is extremely important aspect of social media marketing. People don't think about often enough.
Yeah, and I think I just go back to NAR and Realtor.com, and finally this year they've rolled out for enhanced users only. Of course, you have to pay. They have their own blogging platform up there. But I think although Realtor.com still has the highest industry traffic, it's sites like Zillow.com and Zillow.com-ish sites, whether it's Trilly or whatever, that involve the community, involve the real estate brokers, lenders, appraisers, buyers, sellers, everyone. Those are the new sites that people are going to, I think, that are the traffic builders of the world in the future.
Yeah, well, commerce is moving online, and so the entire marketplace will move online. It will eventually get to the point that it's more than just information online, but people are actually interacting and engaging, and so you have to keep up with basically the needs of your users. And users right now are looking for interactivity. They're looking for the ability to speak amongst themselves. And so, yeah, you have to stay ahead of the pack. Thank you. I appreciate your kind words, but it's a competitive market out there, and so you can expect Zillow to continue to innovate. We definitely can't sit on our laurels at this stage.
Other businesses that you've seen in a Web 2.0 space totally transform outside the real estate industry. Somebody else has a perfect example of what the web and the Web 2, really Web 3.0 world has done.
Yeah, well, there were actually some excellent panelists on this discussion that I was involved in Denver last week. And just to cite one would be ebags.com. The guys at ebags.com have done an incredible job of creating content-rich sites for people who are passionate in various verticals that define their consumers. So handbags.com, go check it out, belongs to ebags.com. Backpackopedia belongs to ebags.com. And the company, I'm not going to cite their financials on this, but the company, since implementing those social media marketing strategies, have increased revenues dramatically and reduced their cost on paid marketing in an equally dramatic fashion. So they've seen bottom line dollar and cents benefits through their blogging initiatives, and there are many other similar examples.
Wow. Well, David Gibbons, Zillow.com, great information. Always a pleasure talking with you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Stay tuned for more on Broker IP TV.
You've been watching video from the Bloodhound blog, Unchained in Phoenix. Brought to you by Zillow.com. For more information and interviews, check out BrokerIPTV.com.